Hello students, today we are going to start the new chapter, chapter number 3. So chapter 3, okay. So chapter 2 was about free vibration, okay. So chapter 2 was free vibration, and chapter 3 is forced vibration, okay. So free versus forced, okay. So when you say free vibration, we have seen that there was no external force applied, okay. So chapter 2 was about a forced vibration. Also it was about the one single degree of freedom, right? So chapter 3 is still about the single degree of freedom. Still one degree of freedom is there, but instead of free vibration, this is forced vibration. What is free vibration? Free vibration, we had a spring damper system, we had a mass hanging here, okay. So KCM, and what we did, we gave one a disturbance, maybe we just pulled it and released it, and then we saw how the vibration was. So that's what it's called free vibration. Now forced vibration means we are going to apply a force. So we apply a force which is a function of T. Okay, chapter 3 is not about any force, okay. This is about harmonic force. So harmonic force, or in other words, sinusoidal force. What it means is sinusoidal force. Okay, so basically what it says is Ft equal to F naught sine omega t. Means some harmonic force means a sinusoidal force, or could be cosine force, sine force, or cosine force. So Ft equal to F naught sine omega t. If you apply over it, then how will this system behave? That's what the new chapter 3 is all about, okay. Okay, so first differential equation you have to write, and from there we want to solve it, okay. So differential equation will not change. So what I meant is change just a little bit. So let us say we study this one. So we have a displacement which is upward is positive, so accordingly x dot is positive, the downward is positive, so velocity is positive downward, and acceleration also is positive downward, so like that, okay. Now we have to find out, we have to draw the free body diagram. So it's the free body diagram, okay. We have a mass here m, and displacement is x, hence a spring will be stretched, so force will be upward, so kx. Now if the velocity of m is positive, meaning it's going downward with some velocity, the opposite force, there will be a force to oppose the motion, and the force will be provided by this damper, so value will be cx dot, which will be upward, and force Ft is applied downward, so F naught sine omega t is applied on the mass downward, So we can write the equation now. So what is the equation? Equation will be summation of all forces in vertical direction has to be equal to 0, and hence we have F naught. Okay, so what do we have? F naught or not equal to 0, since this is a dynamic problem, so this equal to mx double dot. Okay, so since this is a dynamic problem, for a static you say total force is equal to 0 as we did in solid mechanics, but now this is a dynamic course. Okay, dynamic course, and hence we have summation of forces has to be equal to m times acceleration. This comes from the Newton's second law. So that really means summation of all forces here will be F naught sine omega t, right, minus kx minus kx dot is equal to mx double dot. And what we get final is mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to F naught sine omega t. So this is what the differential equation is, and we need to solve it. Okay. Of course, along with this, we will also have some initial condition, because it's initial value problem. So we will have some like x at t equal to 0 is x naught, and x dot at t equal to 0 is v naught. So these are also given. This is initial condition. Okay. And this we have to solve it. Okay. So that's what we will do today, solving this equation. So let's rewrite the equation here. So we have mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to F naught sine omega t. If you give this problem to a mathematician, he is going to solve into two parts, right? So first what he will do? First he will say homogeneous solution. Right? So homogeneous solution. Okay. And what he will do? He will try to find out a solutions for kx equal to 0, right? Okay, this we have already studied. The solution we already found during the analysis, during the free vibration. So this is for us is free vibration. So we already have the free vibration. In chapter 2 is all about free vibration. So homogeneous solution is nothing but the free vibration curve. Okay. So now you can relate with your mathematics that you studied, and what is the physical meaning, physical significance of the homogeneous solution. So homogeneous solution is nothing but the free vibration, right? Or transient, basically, which dies out. Okay, so today during the live session, I was talking about, I was asked by one student that what is the physical significance of the logarithmic decrement, right? So logarithmic decrement really means that it is dying out, right, with time, basically, right? So which one? What dies out? Basically the solution due to the free vibration, or solution which comes from the homogeneous solution. And what we have is, which is sustained for more time, is called particular solution. Right? So particular solution is when we have to specifically find out solution to this one. Kx equal to F naught sine omega t. So basically when you are solving for this one, you also have to solve for this one, because this automatically implied, if this is equal to this, it implies this is equal to this and this is equal to this both. Yeah, so you can put See, this is equal to all 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. That means this is also understood there. Yeah, and although the effect, we will see that the effect is not sustained for long time. Effect will be just transient. It will just last for some time. After that, particular solution will be sustained. Okay, so we will find out what is the, and this you also call a steady state solution. A steady state solution. Right? So in vibration we call it steady state solution. Okay. Okay. Now, if given this solution, given this equation, we have to find out the particular solution. So particular solution, as you must have studied in your mathematics course, the particular solution will be of the form of x equal to a sine omega t plus b sine omega t. So whatever you have here, you have the same thing here. But if sine appears, there could be a cos as well. Sorry, this will be a cos. So this will be a cos term as well. So we will find out what is the value of A, what is the value of B, right there. Okay, so let's put it there. So what we get from here is x dot equal to A omega cos omega t plus B omega, and here it will be minus, so minus sine omega t. Now x double dot we get equal to minus A omega square sine omega t minus B omega square cos omega t. Right? So we get these things, and this we are going to put here on this one. Right? So all these things will be placed here. And what do we get? So we get from here, look at this, we put here. So m minus A omega square sine omega t minus B omega square cos omega t, okay, plus C A omega cos omega t minus B omega sine omega t, okay, and then plus k term, k, and then we have A sine omega t plus B cos omega t. Okay. So now next we have to we need to simplify it. Okay. So let me delete just this part like this and use here. So m, so this is equal to f naught sine omega t. What we need to do now is just match the coefficient and we will get. So there were two equations. This side we have sine omega t, cos omega t. This side we have just sine omega t, means coefficient of cos omega t equal to is 0. So and coefficient of sine omega t is f naught. So that way you get two equations, and there are two variables to find out A and B, and hence we get from there. So what do we get? Okay, so for sine omega t we have, so we write here sine omega t multiplied by, so we have minus A m omega square minus A m omega square. Then we have this one, so we have minus here as well, minus B c omega minus B c omega, and then we have here, okay, plus, okay, plus k plus a k, and then sine omega ak multiplied by sine omega t. Okay, so this we have one plus cos omega t, and coefficients are, so we have this one, so we get minus b m omega square. Okay, then we have here plus a c omega, then we have here, so more here, plus k b k, and then is equal to f naught sine omega t. Okay, so since we are equating the coefficients, so what we get? We get simply coefficient of sine omega t, we get simply a times k minus m omega square minus b c omega equal to f naught, and second cos omega t, so we get b k minus m omega square plus a c omega is equal to 0. That's what we get. Yeah. So k minus m omega square times b plus a c omega equal to 0. So we got two equations here, and we have to find out a and b, right? So how we have to solve it, and how to do it? Okay, so we can, from here we can get a in terms of b and like that. So what do we get? We get b, for example, b equal to minus a minus c omega a divided by k minus m omega square. Okay. Minus c omega a multiplied by k minus m omega square. This value we are going to put in this equation, and what do we get? We get a k minus m omega square minus, and minus plus, so we get plus, then we get c square omega square divided by k minus m omega square. What value? A is equal to f naught, right? Okay, and finally what we get? A value we get a is equal to f naught, we get f naught, and then multiplied by k minus m omega square divided by k minus m omega square of that plus c square omega square. So we get a equal to like this. Okay, a is like that. Now second part, we are going to get the b. Okay, so let's get b now. So b will be equal to minus c omega over this value, right? So b equal to minus c omega over k minus m omega square, and hence we get f naught k minus m omega square divided by here we get k minus m omega square plus c square omega square. Hence we get minus c omega f naught over k minus m omega square c square omega square. Okay, so what is the solution? Okay, yes, solution is x equal to a sine omega t plus b cos omega t, where a is given here and b is given there. Okay, okay, now we have to, we can rewrite in a proper way. Okay, so what is the meaning of proper way is, we can assume b equal to sine phi. Okay. B equal to sine phi. Okay. Then what do we get? We can also assume it at b equal to, this is negative, so we can b equal to minus, also we can write that b equal to minus sine phi. So that we have omega t minus phi we are going to get. So we can also write this way also. Okay. What we are going to b equal to minus sine phi, because b equal to minus something. So all these things write like this: b equal to minus x naught sine phi and a equal to x naught cos phi. So how it comes? X naught sine and minus phi, that really means, right? So equal to x naught cos minus phi. It comes like that. Yeah. Yeah. So then what? Yeah, if we write the solution, then what do you get? We have so putting this here, we will get x equal to, okay, so a value, so we get x naught cos phi, right? Okay, and then sine omega t, and then we have b will be equal to minus x naught, then sine phi, and then cos omega t, and hence what you get equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi. Okay, so that's what we get. So what is the value of x? In order to find out x value, x square, if you are saying x square, so let's write this one, a square plus b square, where a square plus b square it will be equal to x naught square, right? We get x naught square, and hence a square plus b square will be equal to x naught square, and this is sine square phi plus cos square phi, so automatically remains x naught square only, or we get x naught equal to root a square plus b square. So whatever we get a and b, we take a square root of that, we get a square plus b square, root of that you get x naught, so x naught is that value, and what else you get from here? You get divide by that, so b over a, so b over a is equal to, b over a equal to minus tan phi, right? Okay, and that really means phi will be equal to tan inverse minus b over a. Is that? Okay. So what is the solution? Solution is x equal to x naught sine omega t where x naught is equal to root under a square plus b square, where a is equal to this and b is equal to this. This is the solution. Okay. Now let's simplify it further. Okay. So what we want to do? We, instead of writing phi equal to tan inverse minus b over a, we should be writing in terms of the known parameters. So b and a are, although b and a are known, but instead of writing phi in terms of b and a, we want to write it as in terms of m, for example. So system parameter m or k or c or the first parameter omega, right? So that's what we will do next. From there, we will get something out of it. So we have so far b and a value, and we know solution is x equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi, where phi is given like this and x naught is given like this. So what we will do? We will get rid of a and b. We should have the solution which has just m, c, k and omega. That's what we need, right? So I delete it here, and we have this part. Okay. So to begin with, let's start with phi. So phi says phi equal to tan inverse minus b over a. So equal to, and what do we get? We get tan inverse and then minus, and put the b value here, right? So we'll put the minus plus. So we get it plus, and then we get c omega f naught and divided by this. If you divide by a, and a has the same denominator, right? So this and this will cancel out, and f here will cancel out. What we will have is divided by k minus m omega square. That's what we get. F naught will also cancel out. So we have c omega, and we have k minus m omega square. The rest is common in both the things. F naught here and this value, f naught this value, they will cancel out. So we get tan inverse c omega divided by k minus m omega square. So this is our phi. So phi is simply tan inverse c omega divided by k minus m omega square. So we have that. Okay. So in this equation, we have omega phi is equal to, given like this, what is x naught now? So we have to find out x naught. If sine phi is like this one, we can have from this, we can also find out the other value. Like it says b equal to this one, right? So that really means if we find out sine phi, we will be able to find out the value of x naught, or in this case, if you find out cos phi, right? So it will out of value of a. So what is the value of cos phi? So cos phi, if phi is like this one, phi is like this one, the cos phi will be given by what? Will be given by k minus m omega square divided by root c square omega square plus k minus m omega square square. So this is what the cos phi would be, and sine phi will be equal to c omega divided by root c square omega square plus k minus m omega square square. So what this sine phi will be. Okay, so now if phi is like this one, cos phi sine phi is like this one, we can now find out what the value of x naught is. So x naught will be equal to a divided by cos phi. So where is a? A is here, divided by cos phi, and cos phi here. If we divide this by cos phi, what do we get? Okay, so we have a here, cos phi here. So we have top k minus minus m omega square. Here also we have k minus m omega square. So that cancels out. Okay, and then we have this term. Yeah, so c square omega square, right, plus k minus m omega square, like that. Yeah, so what do we get? We get f naught, right? So a divided by cos phi will be x naught. So a divided by cos phi, so we get k naught from numerator. From denominator we get root of that, right? So this divided by this one, so we get root, we get c square omega square plus k minus m omega square square. Okay, so this what we get, x naught, right? So our solution is x equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi, where x naught is given like this one, and phi is given like this one. Okay. So let's rewrite the final solution here. Okay. So final solution, we have which equation? We have x. We have mx double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to f naught sine omega t, and what value we got? Which value? Study the particular integral, the particular solution we are talking about. So particular solution, what do we get? We get x equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi, where okay, this was this one, where phi equal to, where phi equal to tan inverse c omega divided by minus k m omega square. Okay, and then what else we get? We got x naught, and x naught is equal to f naught divided by root, then c square omega square plus k minus m omega square whole square here. So this is the solution we got. Okay, so we will analyze it further. So let us simplify it further. So we'll write x naught equal to f. So we write f naught over k. Why f naught over k? F naught over k is basically, it is equivalent to a f naught equal to k. So if there is a, say, a spring, for example, right, of k, and you apply a f naught, so there will be displacement. There will be a displacement which is equal to f naught over k, and that will be the mean position, right? So that will be the mean position for the sinusoidal force. So that will be the plus minus. From there it will either go up or down, right? So from there, so that's why the f naught b is the, so basically the, you are expressing in terms of the static deflection. So that is equal to f naught over k. Okay. So value will be x naught, f naught over k divided by, and what we are going to do, if divided by k here, we are going to divide it by k here also. So what we get is c square omega square over k square plus we get k minus m omega square divided by k square, right? And which is equal to f naught divided by k, yeah, and then root under, and here this value we can write it further. Okay, we can write in terms of we have C here. So which all properties are we going to use? Property will be, one is omega n, which is equal to k over m. So this we will use, so that omega n square equal to k over n, right? K over n. Okay. Now second property. Now the second property that we are going to use will be zeta, which is equal to C over critical damping coefficient, that Cc, and here Cc equal to 2 root Km. So we will use this property. Yeah. So C square over omega square over k square. So let's see C square over k square, what simplifies to. So C square over k square. Okay. Now we write zeta square. If you write here, so you get what? If you write zeta square, so we get zeta square. Okay, so zeta square makes it C over 4 km. Then we will have m, okay, m and times k over 4. Let us see here. If we write C square, in order to get C square, what do we get? Zeta square multiplied by 4, m and k. C square becomes equal to zeta square multiplied by 4 km divided by k square. Okay, so what do we get? Equal to 4 zeta square and m over k. But m over k is what? K over m is omega n. So what we get? Equal to 4 zeta square over omega n square. So C square over K square is 4 zeta square over omega n square. So we will write here. So this becomes 4 zeta square over omega n square plus. Okay. Now next is K square here or square here, so we get minus, and then we get m over k omega square, right? Okay, where m over k is nothing but 1 over omega n square. So hence what we get basically x naught is equal to f naught over k, okay, and then divided by, we get 2 zeta omega n square plus 1 minus omega divided by omega n whole square, like that. Yeah, and here we have this. Okay, so this will be simply like this. So, and this will be k1 minus a whole square. So x naught equal to f naught over k. This signifies if it is a spring, you apply f naught, and then it will go move by some deflection, that if you apply a static force F naught, so the static deflection will be F naught over K. So that's what is signified divided by this term. Yeah. Okay, so here looks like we made a mistake. So a square here, so we have to write a square here. Okay. We also made a mistake here. So C square over K square multiplied by omega square. So C square K square term, this one we put here, but we forgot to put omega square. So we also have to write omega square in this case here. Okay, so we have accordingly we will have 2 zeta omega over omega n whole square. Okay, so this is the final x naught value. So similarly we can also write tan phi or value of phi. So phi is given by tan inverse C omega divided by K minus M omega square. Okay, so if we divide the above by K, so what we do, we are going to divide here divided by K, and this also divided by K, yeah, up and down. So just see same expression, but divide the numerator by K and denominator by K. Okay, so what do we get? So we get tan inverse and C over K. We get C over K times omega. So C over K, C square over K square is like this. We can also write that really means C over K is equal to 2 zeta over omega n. Yeah. As we know that zeta is a positive number and omega n is also positive. So C over K, C is also positive number, K also positive number. C over K equal to 2 zeta over omega n. So hence here we write 2 zeta, C over K is 2 zeta omega divided by omega n. 2 zeta divided by omega n multiplied by omega divided by. Now divide this by, so you get K divided by K, so you get 1 minus, then M divided by K. M divided by K is 1 over omega n square. So what value we get? We get here omega square over omega n square. Okay. Right. So we can also write tan inverse and final form 2 zeta omega over omega n divided by 1 minus omega over omega n square, like that. Okay, so this is the final expression. Now we can study the behavior for different factor. How will this look like? Different value of omega. For example, omega, when omega is equal to omega n, then what happens? Tan inverse of 1, this, if omega equal to omega n, then this becomes 1 value, 1 minus 1 becomes 0. So this becomes tan inverse, this expression becomes infinite. Okay, so tan inverse infinity is phi equal to pi over 2, right? So in that case you get phi equal to pi over 2 in that case. Yeah, what is the meaning here? X naught will be in that case what? So we will get some value in this case. Yeah, so if y omega equal to omega n, so this becomes 1, so 1 minus 1 will be 0. What you get is this one and this one. What you are seeing there, since this term becomes 0, x naught will be very high term. Okay, so we analyze that. Okay, remember now that whatever solution we got, that's a particular solution. Okay, so actual solution, total solution will be homogeneous solution plus particular solution. Homogeneous solution we did not solve today. We already solved in the last chapter. Homogeneous solution you get, this is the same as the solution you get for free vibration. That is, this term equal to 0 is the homogeneous solution, and that also called solution due to free vibration. So that solution we have already got. This is particular solution we are getting like this one. Okay, this is the final form, x equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi, where phi is given by this, and x naught is given by this. Yeah, so x naught given like this, phi given like this one is a particular solution. So total solution, complete solution will be x equal to that you obtained from the free vibration plus particular integral that you are getting here. So very important. So you combine them together. Okay, so you have to combine them together in order to get the complete solution. Okay, so this solution is not complete by itself. This is just the particular solution. What you see in this case here, however, that there is no like a decrement. There is no term such as e to the power minus zeta omega nt type of term which decreases with time. What you have is, solution is x naught sine omega t minus phi. That really means this is sinusoidal only. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you combine both of them, you combine free vibration solution that you know that, let's say zeta is less than 1, and then you have solution which is some value, then it decreases over time. So that will die out very soon. Now, second part will be the particular solution part, which is sinusoidal solution, and that sinusoidal will be sustained. That really means with time, the first part, that is the free vibration part, will die out, and after that, what do you have is the particular solution, sinusoidal solution, which will be sustained, right? So that is also the mean. So let me write this solution here. So we will have x naught and phi value here, let it be here. Okay, and from this side we will just write the particular solution, that's x, let's call it xp for particular solution. So xp is equal to x naught sine omega t minus phi is the value, where x naught given, phi is given. As I said, the complete solution x will be, xt will be equal to x homogeneous solution plus particular solution. That's what the total solution, actual solution will be. And xh t equal to will be solution due to free vibration that we did in chapter 2. That xh you get from the chapter 2. Okay, and then you have xp, which will be like this one, but xh will, as I said, will die out very soon. Okay, and after that, what is you have is xp, the particular solution. So xp, so here h is for homogeneous solution, and what p is the particular solution. So here we have particular solution, and this is the steady state solution. This also call it a steady state solution. Yeah. So steady state solution. So after vibration starts, so there's a spring mass damper system, you apply a load, you apply a sinusoidal load. So initially, after you have applied the load, there will be also the homogeneous solution will also be there, which will die out with time. But after sufficient time, what you have is just this one. Okay, so sinusoidal, pure sinusoidal you will have after some time, when the e to the power minus term will die out. Okay, and after that you have this. Okay, so now we are going to find out how this is going to behave based on the value of omega, right? Different, the equation is this one, right? The equation is this one, okay? And different omega will have different type of response, okay? This is also known as harmonic response. So when we study the control system, when we have just equations, and then we will say my system is mx dot double dot plus cx dot plus kx equal to 0, right? This is my system, and then we have to find out the harmonic response. Harmonic response means that your input force is sinusoidal force, and then we have to find out how it looks like. What is a steady state solution looks like? The steady state solution looks like is a particular solution. From this solution, you can also find out what will be the solution for mass, is the mass, and there is some mass, just mass and a spring, and then you have a harmonic excitation F naught sine omega t, and then what happens? So solution will be x naught. In this case, what? C equal to 0, right? C equal to 0. Hence, zeta is equal to 0. So put zeta equal to 0 here. What do you get? You get x naught is equal to f naught over k divided by, and what you have this one, zeta equal to 0. So this term is gone. Then here you have 1 minus omega over omega n square, then square also. The square term here and square root here. So what we get simply is 1 minus omega over omega n square. Now, x naught is what? What is x naught? X naught is the basically amplitude, right? So solution is x naught sine omega t. This is amplitude. Now, see one thing. If omega tends to omega n, is exactly omega equal to omega n. Then what do you get? You get x naught tending to infinity, right? So 1 minus 1, right? So this will be infinity. X naught will be infinity. Which condition known as resonance. That means if the frequency of the force is matching with the natural frequency omega n, then there will be resonance. Yeah. So concept of resonance comes from here. However, then omega, when you have a zeta, some value zeta, right, means if C is there, in that case, what you will get is x naught will not tend to infinity. However, this will increase the, depending on what the zeta is, you will have the response. So how will it look like? So if it is a, let us say you have omega over omega n, and here you have x naught term. Okay, x naught term. Okay, then what happens? Here x naught, if you have omega equal to, if you have zeta equal to 0, we start with this condition. When zeta equal to 0, then what we will have? You will have the value, it will start somewhere here. If omega equal to 0, then what happens? If omega equal to 0, if you put here, zeta equal to 0, omega equal to 0. So zeta equal to 0 condition, omega equal to 0. So what you get? F naught over k. So it will start from f naught over k. Okay. So this, because f naught over k denotes the static displacement. Yeah, it is something like you have a spring mass damper system, okay, and then you just apply a static load, okay, and leave it for some time. A static load equal to f naught, so you will get the final displacement, which is equal to f naught over k. Okay, so if you have to plot this condition, how will it go? It will go like, it will go here, it will reach infinity somewhere, and then this will come down like this one. Okay. It will go up, right? It will tend to infinity. X naught will tend to infinity. Okay. Now, if zeta is little bit more, right? So this tends, let us say this is zeta equal to 0. Next term will be, let us say, so this will be something like this. Yeah. Let's call it zeta equal to 0.1. You know, so you keep on increasing, and hence the value will be different. So like this one, and finally you will have here zeta equal to 1, not tau but zeta. So zeta equal to 1, so it will go like this one. Okay, so what you see here is if zeta is small, then there is a value 1. So omega over omega n equal to 1. At that point, you will see a big jump in the amplitude. Okay, so there will be a big jump in the amplitude. Okay, so that's what the meaning of that. And it depends on zeta. If zeta equal to 0, which denotes this one with the undamped condition, in that case the resonance will be observed, the amplitude will be infinite. For other case, if zeta is has some value, if the lower value, then the amplitude will be higher. As you increase the value, amplitude will keep on lowering till zeta equal to 1. Yeah, so that's why. And similarly, you can plot phi. So what you see here is, so phi, so here it is omega over omega n, and here phi. So one thing you see here, if omega equal to 0, then value is 0. So 0 here and then 0 here, regardless of what zeta you have, phi will be 0, right? So you have 0. Now when you have omega equal to omega n, then regardless of what value you have 1 minus omega n over omega n, so makes it 1, 1 minus 1 becomes 0, hence infinity. So what you see is this is 90 degree, right? Your pi over 2, okay, or 90 degree, where when you have omega over omega n equal to 1. So basically if it is 1 value, then you have pi over 2. So all curve go and meet here, right? Okay, and the value, maximum value is from 0 to 180 degree only, so from pi. So let's then how will it start? This is going to start something like, it will go like this and go like this. So typical curve will, for different value, typical curve will look like that. So it will pass through 1 pi over 2. So here if you have different value, lower zeta, it will go like this. Higher zeta equal to 1 will go like this. Okay, so this is zeta equal to 1. This one, let us say this is zeta equal to 0.1. Right? So just one example. Yeah. So this is how the phi will look like. You can yourself plot with different zeta for different ratio of omega over omega n. You can plot, you can see how it looks like. Both the plots you can do. Okay.